Another episode of the Bill Russo Show, broadcasting live from our studio of cityworldradio.com here in Manhattan, the heart of New York City, the heart of culture, the very heart of the world. We are joined tonight by special guests Maria Baratta and co-host Aimee Duggar. And without further ado, I want to introduce my first guest. Let me just tell you a little bit about her. And for those of you that are joining us on video, welcome to the Bill Russo Show. Maria Baratta is an actress and writer, and in 2010, Maria developed and wrote her own one-woman show, Vignettes of an Italian-American Girl. Now, I just want to give a shout out to my son, Michael Russo, who lives in Richmond, Virginia. He is a graduate of the College of William and Mary, and I fondly recall that when he attended class at William and Mary, he was referred to as the only Italian in his class. So we have this Italian-American girl, Maria Baratta, who began her life as a first-generation Italian-American, not far from here. I'd say maybe 2-3 hour ride in Waterbury, Connecticut, and she wrote and developed this play and stars in this play, this solo woman show, Vignettes of an Italian-American Girl. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Maria Baratta.
Thank you very much, Bill. I'm very excited to be on your show tonight.
And I also want to introduce our co-host, who we're going to name a video game after her. Where in the world is Aimee Duggar? Aimee is an international flight attendant, but she also has experience in counseling and in crisis prevention, in particular suicide prevention, which, if you recall, on the last Bill Russo show, or 2 shows ago, we had her on with my good friend David Gonzalez, who was the hero passenger on a JetBlue airline in which he literally prevented the pilot, who had gone berserk, from re-entering the cockpit and bringing the plane down. We had a very spirited discussion about that. So we are glad to have you back on the program, Aimee. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. I can't wait to hear your story.
Great, great.
Thank you.
So, Maria,
yes.
Tell us, let's start from the point of the production. You recently staged a production. And how did you come about writing this play about your life as an Italian-American girl?
Well, I'd been wanting to write a story for a long time, and I was actually encouraged by many of my colleagues and friends, both professionally within the industry and outside of the industry, to put together my stories. They'd say, "Oh my God, I love hearing about your father and your mother and your aunts and your uncles, and you have such a colorful way of telling a story." And I wanted to do it. It was always in the back of my mind. And then I had heard about a solo show writing workshop class through a friend, Matt Hoverman, who is an amazing teacher, has his a very talented playwright who is actually has a show going to Broadway as we speak, play. Has this course to help, as he calls himself, a midwife, to help artists birth their one-woman show. So I started the course not knowing much of what to expect, but hoping to find a group of artists and individuals who would be supportive in this journey. And as a result, it developed into a 20-minute presentation that we do at the very end of the course in front of an audience, a live audience, a small audience.
And where was this held?
I'm trying to remember the space. It was a small space in Midtown, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. It was back in 2010.
This is Midtown Manhattan, not Midtown Columbus, Ohio. Midtown
Big difference.
Yes.
Right.
Midtown Manhattan. And I had gotten such great feedback from the audience members, some people that I know, some people I didn't know, that it encouraged me to continue moving the show forward. And at the time, I had bumped into a colleague who had mentioned the Shorten Attention Span Festival, which is a great one-act festival that happens in downtown Manhattan, not downtown Columbus. At the Players Theater, there's a small space upstairs called the Players Loft, and they hold this great festival every summer. And show got into the festival, and I wrote a little bit more, and I'd say it was about a half-hour version, and it got even more of a response from the audience. In fact, it was voted the best show of that series for that week. There are a bunch of different shows that go up, so it was very encouraging for me. And my parents got to see this one, and I was very nervous because I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to tell everybody about the family business. I'm going to tell them about our, what goes on, all the nitty gritty. They're like, do what you got to do. If you want to do it, you do it, okay? So they were very encouraging. They came, they saw it. I got great feedback, and I decided to do the biggest step for the show up to that point, which was to enter it into the New York International Fringe Festival. I was thank you, Aimee. I was very, very scared because I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a million other participants and recipients, and will I get chosen? Will I not? It's hundreds of people who enter this festival, and I did, and it was very encouraging to continue moving forward. And as a result of that piece, I'd say I wrote another half hour of material, so it was about an hour long. A very wonderful artistic creative theater director from the Seven Angels Theater came to see the show with the Seven Angels due to my producer at the time, who helped produce the piece for the festival. Brought her to check it out, and she is not only the artistic theater director of the Seven Angels Theater in Waterbury, Connecticut, but she's also a hometown native of my hometown, and so it was very exciting to have her come and check out the show, and she liked it. And
so your show is informed by your life experiences. And
yes.
Is it based on reality and truth and what you experienced in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has.
You were born in the United States, in Waterbury, Connecticut. Your parents are from Italy?
Yes. Both my parents were born in a small region in the south called Molise, right below Abruzzo.
What's the name of the town?
They're from Provinci di Campobasso. My father is from a small village called San Giuliano del Sagno.
San Giuliano del Sagno. It's a shout out to all of you listeners there.
And my mother is from another small village not too far from San Giuliano called Cercimaggiore. In fact, there's a great community club, the Cercimaggiore Community Club in Oakville, Connecticut, where a large group of individuals from that town settled in that greater Waterbury area.
That's amazing, and a shout out to all of those paesani.
All the paesani, Cercesi, woohoo!
It's right up Bill's alley with the Italian.
I love it. I love it. An Italian after my own heart.
We'll be there next week.
I want to mention that this show today is being produced by Anthony Lofaso, who is working the camera, and he'll be joining us in a little while. But I want to thank Anthony Lofaso for being the steady hand on the camera and helping with all of the production on the equipment and getting the show produced under the auspices of Fab Intro Productions. Thank you very much, Anthony Lofaso, for that. So let's continue. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the play is about you. It's a solo play, and it's mm-hmm. based on reality.
Sure.
What are some of the major events that take place in this play, Vignettes of an Italian-American Girl?
Well, definitely humorous events from my childhood growing up, from, trying to date boys, and my father was like, you're too young, to, crazy antics with my sister while, I was studying and she was trying to sneak in after curfew. And then unfortunately some tragedy as well. Tragedy that happened in our family that ended up being a turning point in my journey, and ended up being a turning point in really pursuing my truth and what it was for me, not only to be a woman, but to be an Italian-American woman, and, letting go of traditions and some old world values that were not in alignment with my truth. But I had taken that on as the older daughter, doing the right thing, being dutiful, listening to my parents. But this tragedy forced me